From Belmore to Brisbane, Auckland to Ashfield, Townsville to Tullamarine, Maroubra to Melbourne. Every NRL side has SuperCoach greats and SuperCoach duds. This is going to be a really, really interesting episode.
It's time to strap in and get ready. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Metrics, and Whisperer.
Very interesting indeed, I reckon. We've got some spicy hot takes coming your way, as Josh alluded to at the start of the episode. And I don't know whether you're prepared more so for Matrix's hot takes than ours. I think they're probably going to be a little bit spicier, boys. I'm looking forward to this one. We've put a bit of thought into our hottest takes for every single team. So we're going to cover one team each. We've been assigned one team. We've done them today. And we're going to give you a bit of a spice. Matty, how are you first, mate? Doing well?
Yeah. Oh, look, it's end of month at work, so I am smashed. I've been running on empty, and I tell you what, I walked in the door and I could smell the beer fridge. So I'm here and I'm ready to go.
Did you smell the beer fridge, Josh, when you walked in today, or?
Yeah, of course. Always. I reckon Matrix's beer fridge eludes an odor traveling all the way down to the southern states, so it's definitely pungent. But yeah, mate, 17 teams, hot takes for everyone. Could be good. Could be positive hot takes. Could be negative. I think it's going to get some fans riled up, but it's going to be good to come back to these at the end of the season and see just how wrong we were.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think, it'll be good for people to get involved in the comments as well. Let us know what you think, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Feel free to roast us if you want. These are going to be fun, but we're still trying to get them right. We're not just putting stuff out there and taking the piss completely. We're still thinking that these are going to be pretty close. So we'll see how we go. But, of course, before we do, hit subscribe and like. We'd love that. Obviously not typical SuperCoach content, but it will be SuperCoach related to some degree throughout these episodes. And, of course, the episode today is brought to you by Ryan from Astute Newstead. For those of you looking to get into the housing market and get your rate below 6.2%, you can contact Ryan from Astute Newstead for an obligation-free consult. Hit him up. His link is in the description below. Boys, who wants to kick us off? I think who's got the number one person or team on the ladder?
That's me.
Okay, Matrix. Matrix has the Melbourne Storm. So we're going to go in reverse, or we're going to go in ladder order to kick things off. Matty, take the stage, my friend.
Mate, I was looking at the Storm, and I was looking at Pappy, and he is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the fifth highest priced player on the Storm. And I think by the end of the year, he's going to be the highest averaging Storm player.
Okay. So you think he's going to score more than Harry Grant, more than Cam Munster, more than Jerome Hughes? There's a bit for the audio listeners out there. We'll see Josh with a big L on his phone screen to the camera. Not a fan of that one, mate.
No, I don't understand how you both have him in your current sides as per our last team reveals. I'm maybe sorry for Matrix. I didn't expect it from you, Braino, but no, I just think even if Hughes takes a backward step, Munster's there, mate, it's going to have to be a ripper season from Pappy. This may be a bit of narrative spinning here from Matrix just to give him some confirmation bias to continue to have Pap in his team.
Let me tell you right now, there is some rife confirmation bias coming through in my hot takes over these next couple of episodes. So, don't you worry about that. I'll be trying to make as much happen as I can.
I just think like Harry Grant was doing a fair bit of job sharing. We're going to see Wishart off the bench again and going to have to come through that hooker role. So I'm expecting less from Harry, less again this year, and we probably saw less last year. We have to see Munster and Jerome Hughes go back to, I suppose, an even share. Like Cameron Munster's not going to just come back into the team and play second fiddle to Jerome Hughes. As exciting and as good as Jerome Hughes was last year, honestly, I'm more thinking maybe an Eli Katoa or somebody like that could be worth more than Pappy, because I'm seeing I think there'll be a regression from Harry Grant. I, of course, don't think Jerome Hughes is going to get the usage that he got. I know Pappy's not goal kicking, but I just think if he can find some form, if he can stay healthy, they'll get him involved. And yeah, I think he could be 800K. So.
Cool. Good. Yeah, we couldn't start better than that, really, could we? So,
no, I mean that's 800K is very, very high. I think that's as high as the expectations that Iongi owners are putting on him.
feels like it, yeah. Look, fair call. All right, rip in. I reckon the Harry Grant's going to regress could be the spicier take than Pappy being the top scorer, to be honest. But anyway, we can move past that comment.
I'm just going to sit Wishart. I know that they that Harry Grant had some niggling injuries and stuff last year. I just think that they'll ease him through the regular season. He's going to have that Origin period as well, where of course he's not going to score as well because he's not going to have that. I don't think Pappy will be playing Origin. So he'll be handy through that period. And I think, some limited minutes to Harry through that, will lower his average. So,
sweet. Let us know what you think in the comments. Josh, you're up next.
We started off hot. I'm not too sure if mine is hot. Maybe it is, because mine hasn't happened since 2021. So we're going back now 4 years to 2021 season where points were scored galore. And the last time one Nathan Cleary scored a 200-point game was all the way back in 2021. No Jerome Luai, potentially more usage. Nathan Cleary will surpass that 200 mark this season.
Ooh. Have you got a game in mind where you think this could happen?
I haven't looked that deeply, but I do remember...
That's the Tigers.
I was waiting for it.
Wouldn't surprise me. But I remember a certain Magic round back in 2021 against the Titans when I think he scored something like 210 points. Nathan Cleary does it on the big stage. It could be back at Magic round. But what do we think about Cleary? Getting back to absolute SuperCoach abnormality by scoring 200 points this year in one game.
I think if there's a player to do it, it's him. And also, you've got your turbos can score 200. These guys that just, are involved in everything. You're right, though, with the no Luai. I think there's a big chance Cleary takes another step forward, if that's even possible. He'll have the ball. I'd love to know, for the stats nerds out there, how many receipts he had per game last year. Because I reckon you're going to see at least a 25 to 30% uptick in receipts this year for Cleary.
Is that a W take or an L take, Matrix?
I rate it. Yep. I think that's big. I think that Cleary will have some huge games. I do think that the usage, he might, struggle a bit through certain periods. I think the amount that he's going to be asked to do might get a little bit much for the Panthers. I can't see them going to Talagi enough. I'm actually pretty high on Dylan Edwards getting his usage up a little bit more because Cleary's going to need some help. And I think he's going to look to, a bit more of a veteran in Dylan Edwards when he needs said help.
Right. I've given one. Matrix has given one.
Yeah, me. I've got the good old Sydney Roosters. And I don't know whether Roosters fans are going to like me after this, but I've kind of tried to pair it with a player. So my first one is that I don't think the Roosters make the 8 this year. I think they drop out of the 8. We see every single year that there is a team in the top 4 that misses the 8, and I think it's the Roosters this year. I don't think it's going to be the Panthers. I don't think it'll be the Storm, and I think the Sharks will improve with AFB. So I think that the Roosters are the team that are set up to drop out of the 8 this year. But I think that Billy Smith averages 55 plus this season. Now, if we want to pair that with
5 minutes for the season, or
if we want to pair that with total games played, maybe I'll set the over/under on total games played at 18.
Oh, mate, I want him to, because we've been hearing Billy Smith how good he is for so many years. If he played 18 games, I reckon that would go down in infamy. But Matty, 18 games—that's nearly the whole season for Billy Smith.
Oh, I'm not going to wish that he's not going to play that. That sounds like a huge dick move. And seeing him in my team, I really hope he does. But yeah, I don't see it. I think, honestly, some of this depth that the Roosters has went out and getting these spots is because they're almost expecting an injury from some of these guys.
So Brain said no top 8 for the Roosters. Obviously not a big Chad Townsend guy by the sounds of it, mate.
Look, sorry, Chad Townsend. I know he's a big fan of the show, but no, not a huge fan of the halves combination of Chad Townsend and Sandon Smith to start the season. Sam Walker missing for them, I think, is a big kick in the nuts for the Roosters. Does Teddy do more? Part of my take was going to involve Teddy stepping up a little bit while Sam Walker was out, but I won't add too many more Roosters hot takes.
Matty, your first one blew us both out of the water. Let's see if your second one can match it or if it's a little bit more reserved.
Ruben Garrick is not a gun.
He's not a gun.
No, I think we start to see a little bit of a step back with all these young guys that they've got in Kohler and Saab, and they just seem to be high on all these guys. Like Ruben Garrick scores really well. He goal kicks. He lost that spot where he went back to fullback when Turbo got injured. I just think if Turbo plays a full year, maybe they just don't go to Ruben Garrick as much. They give Kohler more of a go. Hopewadi gets into the team and they start using him a lot more. I just wouldn't be surprised if we see Ruben Garrick at some stage touch 520K.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I like the reasoning. Like the reasoning is sound. It's better than a Harry Grant regression, but I think he averaged, Brandon, something like 86, 87 points a game last year without the HIAs. Obviously, they are a concern, but I mean, the logic's there, so I can't hate on it too much because he's given some points. And no matter how poor the argument is, if you give good points, I'm not going to say W take, but I won't hit you with an L either.
No, I'm going to hit you with an L.
Brother, what's that?
I'm not a fan of that. I think Ruben Garrick's a top 5 centre wing in the competition. I think that he's going to find his own. He'll get involved when he needs to. And tell me this, right? You think he's going to be poor. He's the goal kicker for Manly. Manly score points, right? So off the back of that, his floor is incredibly high. So are you basically saying that he's just not going to really score much attacking points this year, I'm assuming, from that?
Yeah, I just wonder if he won't get involved as much. Like, I know he's had that base of 32, I think, last year. But, like, I'm saying that, and I'm saying that he's going to drop to 520K. Let's remember in the last year he dropped to 560K. In the year before, he was 540K at one stage, despite reaching 750K and those heights during the year. Like, 520K, Ruben Garrick, isn't that far out of the realm. He's basically touched nearly there the last 2 years.
I'll tell you what.
I think you need HIAs.
If Matty's prediction comes true and he is 520K, he'll be the thumbnail for whatever buy, hold, and sell preview we do for that week because I'll be snapping him right up. Mine, boys, the Cowboys. I think Cowboys fans might actually like this take because it seems like the player in question is really loved and the other player in question is not so loved. He's not loved by Brano and I for what he did to our club, but I've got Kai O'Donnell to finish the season averaging more than John Bateman. Now, obviously the talk is Bateman to start the season, but we know how that can go sometimes. It gets a little bit too hard and maybe checks out a little bit. Kai O'Donnell to finish the season averaging more than John Bateman, boys.
Hang on, just give me a second. I'm just going to remove John Bateman from my team real quick.
Hey, first 1 to 10 rounds, sure. Bateman could fly, but what happens if they get 3 or 4 losses in a row, or a club back in the Super League? John, do you want to come back?
I'll give you this one. I think only because the Cowboys' draw is the worst start of the season out of the whole competition. So there's every chance that yes, John Bateman plays an edge, and I don't think he's going to be hampered too much by the draw, but. If he's standing under the post a fair bit, which I think the Cowboys might be doing a little bit of that this year. I'm on board with that, I think. What do you reckon, Matty?
No, that's an L. I'm all in on Johnny Bateman. They're going to need some experience there. They're going to get him the ball early and often. He's going to have a resurgence. He's not playing for a turd of a team anymore. He's going up north. I hear the humidity up there is just the same as England. He's going to feel very at home.
I have a feeling,
does he live in Fiji, does he?
I have a feeling a lot of our W or L reactions will come down to whether we own the player or not that's in question.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if I thought Kai O'Donnell was going to average more than John Bateman, no, he wouldn't be in my team. I've had him because I think he can get back to averaging 60. And at least very early on in the year. And if Cowboys surprise me every year, I basically rule them out of the 8 every year except for last year. And look, they do perform. I think like Tommy Dearden and Drinkwater and everybody like that. I think getting Bateman in the team, paying him that much money, they're going to use him. So yeah, it's an L from me.
Fair enough. I hope it's an L because I've got him in my team right now, but I think you might be onto something. We'll see. And if you are, then, we've probably got one of the best cheapies of the year there sitting there at some point. So, all right. I have the Bulldogs. Maybe I'll make people happy with this one. Not a negative one by any means, but it is a little bit spicy as a guy that no one is looking at right now. Connor Tracy will be a top 10 fullback in SuperCoach in 2025.
Where did he finish?
W or L?
Last year?
He was 16th last year.
Okay. So big improvement. I was expecting him to be like 12th. So I'm like, that's not really much of a hot take, but that's a pretty sizable improvement.
He averaged 60. He averaged 60 last year. It was his first full year pretty much playing in the same position. We know that in previous, especially at the Sharks, he was used as a utility. He played in the centres. He played on the wing, played off the bench in the 14. This year was, aside from round 11 onwards, he played in the one jersey for the rest of the year for the Dogs. I feel like, and now a full preseason in the fullback jersey for the Dogs throughout this year coming into the season, I feel like he's had enough time in the one position now to improve. I've always been a really big Connor Tracy fan, and I've just been super frustrated with the way that he's been used at clubs. But now that he's got the position, I feel like he can improve, and I feel like he's good enough. 60 average last year in 21 games. Skewed by a couple of monster games, one of that 167 against your Broncos Matrix last year. But I feel like there's enough to love about him with about a 45 BP. What do you think? What do you reckon? W take from Josh? I'll take it. All right, cool.
I like that take. I like it.
Matrix?
I like where it's coming from, but I just don't think that he can. So say, let's just look at fullback rankings real quick. So maybe you've got Latrell, you've got Teddy, you've got Dylan Edwards, you've got Kalen Ponga, you've got Turbo, you've got Drinkwater.
Yep.
Reece Walsh, you've got Pappy, you've got Hammer.
Pappy's number one by the sounds of it, so we need to bump him up to the first spot.
Yeah, wait until you hear his draft rankings for Pappy.
Yeah, so then we're saying Connor Tracy is the next guy. Yeah, look, I could probably get around that, honestly. Now that I'm having a look at that, like you've got him there with your Guthos, with your CNKs, Dream Bullers, all those blokes. Yeah, Connor Tracy, bang on number 10.
He could be like the top of that, like third tier of fullback. You've got your Trell, Turbo, Teddy. And then you've probably got your KP Drinkwaters and the likes underneath, and then you've probably got that clump of like six or seven guys. But yeah, I think Tracy could be at the top of there. So it's a double W take. First one of the episode.
Yes, I'll take it. I rate that maybe for my draft rankings. I think maybe if you miss out on one of the top tier fullbacks that are all going to go in the second couple rounds, if you're sitting there in the fifth or sixth and you get Connor Tracy, I rate that.
And what's dual center wing do for you? Because I think that also plays a factor with Connor Tracy having that dual center wing fullback. So, cool. I'm going to take the double W, and I'm going to get out of here.
It's interesting that Matrix says like it's going to change his draft board, and there's one place to get our draft board, boys.
Want to take your SuperCoach game to the next level? Inside Fantasy Sports are bringing you exclusive content all year round, such as weekly expert Q&As, team, trade, and captaincy advice, statistical deep dives, priority podcast questions, and tons more. So what are you waiting for? Get full access to the experts. Go to patreon.com/Insight Fantasy Sports and subscribe to Insight Unlimited today.
Did anyone just see live there me change Connor Tracy's draft ranking? Because I just did that as he was as the Mr. American man was talking about it. So
it's still the best use of Insight funds we've ever spent.
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon we've got time for three more. So let's go to Matrix.
Who you got next? Close your ears, Warriors fans. Sorry, Anton. No. This one's for you.
We've just lost our whole fan base, man. Fuck.
Yeah. Okay. You're still my bruise, but Warriors to start 1-6, and then RTS to go back to fullback and CNK to get moved.
W take.
I honestly think that'll happen quicker. I reckon RTS could potentially start at fullback this year, and Chance can play at centre potentially to start the year. So, 100% agree with this take. If the take is that RTS is going to get moved to fullback at some point, I reckon it's going to happen. sooner rather
Yeah,
than
I
later.
haven't really looked at the fixture to analyze the NRL side of things, but yeah, I think there's definitely a big chance that we do have RTS run the one on his back at some point of the season, and at centre wing eligibility, he would be. We talk about Ruben Garrick at 520 being the thumbnail for that week's buy, hold, and sell. Whatever rounds. If Ruben Garrick got 520 and RTS fullback at the same week, oh mate, it'd just be those two in the thumbnail. No
They'd
words.
both make it. Yep.
I did just I had a look at the draw for this one, and it's lots of teams that you could probably fall into the trap of not thinking that it's too bad of a draw. Like it's the Raiders. Like if Raiders start really well, the Warriors losing to the Raiders wouldn't be uncommon, I suppose. You've got the Sea Eagles, you've got the Roosters, you've got the Tigers, which despite being ordinary in the past, I expect them to get better with Luai. They've got the Storm, they've got the Broncos, whether you believe they're better with Madge, and even like the next couple against like the Knights and the Cowboys. Like there's nothing that screams that the Warriors are heaps better than any of those teams while they're trying to work out a world without Sean Johnson and Tohu Harris, and they're going to have a lot to work out. I just wonder if they'll move, someone a bit more experienced to the back, but they might only, like, out of respect to how well C&K has sort of done in the last little bit, they might just put C&K there first. But yeah, once those L's start to roll in, it's RTS season.
Agreed. I like that. Josh, what do we got next, mate?
We head to Newcastle, where my take focuses around one Greg the Leg, the left winger from the Knights.
Okay.
Great stat getting around today from Supercoach Late Mail, putting up that he averages 71 with Bradman Best. Now, I'm not expecting lofty heights of 71, but 65 average to finish the season for Mr. Greg Marzu.
I mean, I can get around it.
That's 10 points on a 53. Is it just because you own him? You can get around it? Is that why?
No, I don't own him. No, I'm actually not allowed to own him because I said on Twitter once that I would never own him again, and I get held to account. Yeah,
as we know, you can never change your opinion when you make content.
No, that's right. I've already been quote tweeted on that tweet like 3 times in the last week after I spoke about Greg Marju once, so I can't own him again.
Yep. Matty, 65 average for Greg Marzu.
Yeah, I really like it. I had to. I was high on Campbell Graham, despite you guys maybe not being, and I have elected to actually add Greg Marju in there. Averaged 53, I think, when we thought that he had a terrible year. I'd love 15 extra points, and I think if the Knights get their halves combination correct, Greg Marju, I'd love to see him there. So
I think it's hard. I think it is literally determined by the halves makeup for the Knights and who they start with there. And if it's Gamble and Fletcher Sharp, I lose all faith. But I think we also saw if Bradman Best, and you made the shout out to Supercoach Late Mail for the stat, if Best is out, there's every chance we see Dylan Lucas slide to centre again. And we know Dylan Lucas actually has probably worse glue hands than Joey Manu. So there's every chance that, Greg Marju goes through what he did through last year as well. So
yeah, we're putting a lot of faith in Bradman Best to hold up, and we know that he hasn't been the greatest with.
He hasn't been the best.
Yeah, he's got hamstrings made of cheese. So, let's hope he can stay on the park for Greg Marju's sake and for yours. I'm not allowed to own him, so I hope that doesn't happen. But anyway, the final one.
Sorry, you might not own him, but your wife's team definitely will.
Yeah, for some reason, my wife finds like these great pods and these picks that she just always gets right every single time. So and I never own them.
It's so funny. With your wife's team, it's like the play that you're 50-50 on, the one that you pick, it just seems like your wife just always picks the other one.
She's fucking switched on. She watches the podcast and she just goes against everything I say. So she knows ball.
So it's the same as at home.
Basically, 100%. That's exactly what it is. I have the Canberra Raiders, the milk. Now, I don't know whether this is spicy. I think maybe this is a little bit boring. But in considering what he's coming back from last year, Corey Horsburgh kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. He came back in decent style with a 59 and a 60, I think, at the back end of the year. The little chip and chase regather try that he scored was, I think it's still up on Pornhub somewhere. But I think Corey Horsburgh goes back to averaging 60 plus in 2025. Now, I don't know how spicy that is, but I think the last season he played in 2023 when he was a main fixture of the Raiders, he averaged 62. Do I think he's going to be better than 62? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm happy to go with the 60 line. What do you reckon?
I can't say L take because he's currently my front row forward too. So W take. And also, he's lost. If you're projecting 60 average, I reckon that's the amount of kilos that he's lost this preseason as well. So mate, he's looking lean.
He's looking trim. He might play halfback or 5'8" soon. What do you reckon, Matty?
Oh, I mean, I love the narrative. Like, it's hard to wish that he's not going to do that, but I think maybe a 50 is more reasonable. With so many question marks with their pack, with the fact that like he was out of first grade last year, like he couldn't even get selected for whatever reason, whatever beef he had with Ricky. I hope that they've kissed and made up, but I just don't think he's just going to roll through and get the 60. He's in my team, but I'm expecting a 50 out of him.
Cool.
So,
I was worried that wasn't spicy enough. So the fact that you've said you're expecting a 50 means that it was. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I have low expectations. I'm like a 350k front row forward. Let's just do it.
Fair call. All right. We've got 9 takes done. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know whether we're talking out our ass or not. I'm sure we are. But boys, we've still got another 8 takes to go. Say again.
Give me the hot sauce.
I was going to say our follower count may go down after that one.
Yeah, it'll be definitely going backwards, I think.
All of New Zealand just unfollowed.
Yeah, basically most of our following. Now, we've got 8 more takes to go. That'll come out in the next episode in part 2. Make sure to hit subscribe and like so you don't miss the next one. We'll catch you then.
Cheerio.